And out of sort, Leinster got the job done in front of a packed Aviva. On his mark, let's talk rugby. Leinster were on attack early on. Henshaw tries a bit of a grubber through, but it rebounds from an Ulster player. And then Leinster knock on. It's a scrum to Ulster. There's a strong carry then from Vermeulen from the back of the scrum. It allows Ulster to kick clear, but then James Lowe with a good catch on the high ball allows Leinster to then build back and maintain that pressure on Ulster. Leinster then have a great chance from a line out just inside the Ulster 22. Conan takes it, but then they're pinged for offside. It's one we've seen so many times given away by every single Irish province. Leinster are no different than the others in this respect. Lifters come in behind the guy, catching the ball and immediately block the Maul defence. It's, offside, it's a penalty. And as I said, multiple times from every province this year, it's something they don't seem to be learning, and they need to sort it out by the time of the World Cup, because if this happens in a crucial World Cup game, people are going to ask, why are they doing that? And they've been doing it the entire season. So hopefully it gets sorted out at some point. But from there, then Ulster, they start to build themselves into the game. Larmour gives away a silly penalty. He basically pushes Doak, who was shepherding him, as he was going for a high ball that Stockdale claimed. So Ulster go up the line, they go through the phases. They're not really going anywhere, so they decide to kick the ball through. Then the usually reliable Hugo Keenan knocks it on. It's a scrum to Ulster in the shadow of the post. Ulster, their attack doesn't really come to anything from the scrum, but Leinster were offside. Doak strokes it over, and it's 3-0 Ulster in front. Ulster then are pinged for going off their feet at the ruck at the restart. We have a bit of handbags there. Then once that calms down, Burns squares it up from the tee. We're at 3-3. Leinster, they're on attack again. Keenan gets a high ball first, kind of bats it back to, I think it was O'Brien. They're deep into the 22, but then Vermeulen gets over the ball. He was a penalty ban for Ulster. They're able to clear. At this stage, we kind of have seen a lot of errors from both teams in very slippery conditions. Leinster then win a scrum penalty, and it's a great kick from Byrne. Sees them taking the line out 10 metres out from the Ulster line. That's claimed by Baird. They set up the maul, but immediately he pops it off to Conan. Conan with a decent carry, then Maloney with a great carry right after him. It's recycled, and Byrne crashes over the line to score. We have a bit of a team out check, but the grounding is good. Byrne converts that one 10-3 to Leinster. Ulster then, they're trying to respond, but Leinster's defence is smothering them, forcing them into errors. And when they kick, most of the time Leinster are the ones claiming the high balls. Leinster looking to attack from a line out then. They get the maul going. O'Toole concedes a penalty for sacking it. We play advantage from there, but it breaks down. So then we come back. Byrne extends the lead to 13-3. Ulster, though, hit back just after that. Stockdale, he punts from inside his own half, regathers inside the Leinster half. They generate quick ball. Burns then a lovely crossfield kick to Hume in behind the Leinster line. He then steps low and finishes in the corner. A really great try from Ulster there. Conversion is missed. We're 13-8. Clussy then gets pinged for coming in at the side of a ruck. Byrne kicks for the post but drags it wide. We're still at 13-8. Shortly after then, McCann gets pinged for coming in at the side of a maul. Leinster kick it into the corner. They go through multiple phases. They're very close to the line. Ulster concede another penalty. This time they decide to tap and go. Sheehan taps. He goes close They recycle it, and then Conan dummies and goes over to score. I think before the tap and go, everyone was kind of looking at, Leinster have been doing all these intricate moves, but I think they're kind of keeping the powder dry, and especially in the conditions, probably didn't want to go to those. So all the tap and goes today were just kind of route one. But as Byrne is lining up the conversion, then we have a replay that shows that Conan was initially short, so it's no try. But we do come back for the penalty because Doak was offside. Leinster decide then to kick it into the corner. They're camped on the Ulster line, but they can't get over. It's good defence from Ulster, but they are conceding penalties at the same time. They get warned by Stuart Pearce that the next one's going to go to the bin. Leinster then decided they're going to take the points. Byrne pops it over from right in front, 16-8, and that was a halftime score. Ulster kind of hanging in at periods, but they would have felt that was important at that point not to concede another try, because we've seen with Leinster, they're masters at scoring just before halftime and then just at the start of the second half, turning what would have been a tight game into, suddenly they've got a nice cushion. So Ulster, even though they gave up 3, maybe felt that it was worth it at that stage. Early in the second half, then Leinster get pinged for not rolling away. Burns goes to the corner, but James Ryan steals the line out, and Leinster are able to clear. It felt like a big chance that was missed there from Ulster. Leinster then start to put more pressure on. They're pinning Ulster in their own half. They're charging kicks down. They're putting pressure on in attack and defence. They then nick a line out in the Ulster 22. Basically, it looked like a mix-up in the Ulster line out where it was thrown and the catcher was still kind of up in the air, and the ball kind of goes loose. Ryan bats it back on the Leinster side. We have big carries from Conan and then Ryan as well. Hume gets over the ball, but there's no clear release after his tackle at the breakdown. He is the next man that Pearce talked about giving away a penalty close to the line, so he gets a yellow for his troubles. Leinster again, they're camped on the Ulster line. Furlong and Porter go close. Then they go out to the backs. The ball goes to the deck. Looks like the chance is gone at this stage. Gibbs Park, though, was first to the ball. Stockdale comes and tries to tackle him, and it was also almost like in slow motion. He just kind of slips away from him as his momentum was just taking him the other way, and Gibson Park goes in under the posts. That's compared for 23-8. It's a big hill for Ulster to climb now. Ulster, though, they do get a try back with 14 men. They're winning penalties from the maul. Leinster really can't deal with them. With that, they kick into the corner. They go to the maul again. They're making, really good progress, and Herring breaks off to score. Initially, Leinster looked like they had halted the maul, but Ulster kind of rolled around to their right and around the maul defence. And once they did that, then they just had way too much momentum. It's converted by Cooney at 23-15. Glimmer of hope for Ulster at this stage. Ross Byrne then kicks the restart dead, and I'm thinking, it's a bit of a wobble for Leinster. But from the scrum back on halfway, Leinster win the penalty, and the ship has been steadied. They kick the penalty up the line, they maul it. Ulster managed to halt them, so Leinster move it. We got big carries, they're moving closer and closer to the line. O'Brien gets held up over the line by McCluskey. Great tackle from him, and did really well to get in under the ball as well. Leinster had penalty advantage. They decide to tap and go. They're stopped initially, but then Porter gets over from close range. That's converted for 30-15. And at that stage, it feels like, that's the game. Ulster, they're finding it hard to get their hands on the ball. And when they do, it's only in their own half. Then, so Sheridan, he gets himself a yellow card for a high hit. Ulster down to 14 again. Leinster, they go to the corner, and then they go to the phase, but Penny knocks on. The scrum is reset a few times. Then Leinster get free kicked. Ulster, they clear, but they're running out of time. Then by the time that they finally get into the Leinster half, we've only got 2 minutes left on the clock, and immediately Leinster force them back into their own half, and we're at the end of the game. It's 30-15 final score. Let's have a look at some of the stats. So possession was 62% to 38 in favour of Leinster. Territory 74-26. As I said, Leinster were just pinning Ulster in their own half and denying them the ball that they needed really to build the platform to come back into the game. Tries were 3-2 in favour of Leinster. Big number here. Defenders beaten 15 for Leinster, 1 for Ulster. Like Ulster, so much talent in that back line. When you think of the likes of, you got McCluskey, Hume, Lowry, Balakoon, Stockdale, all, have the ability to break, but just in this game that they weren't able to do it. I think there was one break, kind of like Balakoon makes a half break and then Lowry breaks again, but then I think Leinster got over the ball. They isolated him there. But from the Leinster side, they had the likes of, not just the backs in terms of Lowe, Keenan, and Larmour as well, but then like you got in the forwards as well, the likes of Baird and Conan, with really good carries and being able to break tackles. In terms of tackles, then 97 for Leinster, 197 for Ulster. So Leinster really made Ulster work in defence in this one. Line-out went 100% for Leinster, 80% for Ulster. Like Ulster's line-out misfired at crucial times. Once when they had a chance, when the game was close, and it was a great attacking platform for them, Leinster nick it. And then when they had a crucial one in their own 22, Leinster nick it, and then go on to pile on pressure, yellow card, and a score as well. Penalties conceded then 7 for Leinster, 15 from Ulster. Their discipline really cost them in the second half. They spent like 20 minutes down to 14 men because of those 2 yellow cards, because of that consistent infringement. Ulster from here, like they've got lots of talented players in that team, but they've struggled to produce on the big occasion. They struggled again in this one. It's obviously it feels to me like it's some kind of mental block for them, and like teams have done this before, like Leinster, not necessarily this Leinster team, but previous Leinster teams, thinking back to the one that contained a young Johnny Sexton coming in, with Contepomi there, and then you had the likes of O'Driscoll and lots of Irish internationals in there, had the same kind of thing where they struggled to produce when, on big occasions, when trophies were on the line, or, possibly getting into semi-finals or finals. And it was only when they finally, got that first trophy that then the ability to win those tight games was there for them to kind of go back to the next time. And that's, I think, what Ulster really need, is that they need to win one of these big tight games, and once they've got that, to then have something that they can kind of reference when they need to dig deep in games. They don't have that at the moment, and maybe they're going to need to bring somebody in, more. They brought in Vermeulen, maybe they want to bring another, someone in from outside as well, to try and get more of that in their squad. For Leinster, it wasn't the best performance, but they, as I said, they are a team who just know how to win. They go on to the quarterfinal now, and they take on Leicester on Friday.